Oh my
Well
goodness. We are very excited to have Carrie Anne Arand here today with us so we can talk about her new and upcoming and very interesting topic of men and women meeting and working on a great relationship, something which we love.
done.
Here
I know.
we're going to celebrate Carrie Ann Arand's new innovative way to bring couples together on a weekly seminar and then a weekend retreat at the end.
Yeah. Anyway, Scott and Lisa and I did a personal growth course together, and that's where we met. And we'll talk about personal growth as we go through this conversation here. But really, like, it is those growth oriented people that I find most valuable in my life. And even though I live in Calgary and they live in Thailand, and we connect intermittently now, I always feel like I have a connection with these guys. So I'm really excited to be on this podcast. This is actually my first podcast, so really excited you guys asked me. And I've got this really cool singles thing going on right now. I'm a professional leadership coach. Formerly worked in HR, oil and gas, and just feeling this calling to solve an issue that maybe has a problem right now, which is that coupling. The apps can be frustrating, and so I, as a personal mission, have set this singles thing up, and really looking to understand, bringing those growth mindset people together on a weekly call, single people, and then giving them an opportunity to meet in person. So that's how I want to shift how to date differently. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Explain more what your singles course is then.
So we meet weekly, and it is a lead up to the in-person retreat. So the idea was that, we do these healthy relationship principles together, and then we meet in person after this 8-week course that we've done online. Just like side note, from a marketing perspective, it was actually really difficult to do both of those, like to get people in the mindset of doing like this pre-work in relationships and then meet in person, which I think is like kind of how it is a little bit. They don't like People don't necessarily want to do the work ahead of time. Like maybe like what you're saying there, Scott, is like the work on themselves and the work in the introspection of what they actually want in a relationship too. Like a big piece of the Gottman work is communication of your dreams, and having the other person help you satisfy your dreams in a reciprocating way, and you help them. How many people are unclear about their own dreams, right? So like you have to
Exactly.
first know your own dreams before you can communicate it to a partner. So absolutely, that's like what's happening in alignment with what you said there, Scott. Like people don't even really know what they want. So but then the evolution of this could be, an app or something like that. I went global first, and I think I'm going to bring it back down to Calgary and then start the Calgary market. We have the Rocky Mountains right here that we can have like beautiful retreats in for singles if we want to. And so yeah, that's the evolution of where this could go. So John and Julie Gottman, they're psychologists out of California, and they have the Gottman Institute. And the Gottman Institute's been around, they've been doing research for 50 years. So what they do is they set up these love labs. I think it's in Seattle, and they actually put couples in these real life simulated rooms, and then they observe them. They've got all these like markers on them to test their health as they're in the situation. And they go there for a weekend, and the Gottman Institute observes how they behave with one another. And then after 50 years, or he's written multiple New York Times bestsellers along the way, and he observes what effective couples do, and then he's produced multiple books out of that. So you might have heard of the 4 horsemen of the relationship apocalypse. We've got criticism, stonewalling, defensiveness, and contempt. So those are the surefires for divorce if you don't address them. And then on the flip side, to nurture relationships, we've got things like asking open-ended questions to deepen the relationship of your partners. You're really getting to know who they are. Like, what did you want to be as a child, or something of those varieties of the lighter questions, and then like, what are your hopes and dreams, like kind of some of those deeper open-ended questions. Focusing on the positives is a big piece of their work also. So nurturing that fondness and admiration, as opposed to kind of seeing those things that are undesirable. So they call it the 5-to-1 rule. See 5 things for every one, 5 healthy and positive things that you like about your partner for every one that you address in a criticizing way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
Because
What?
so many of us tend to go to the complaints and to the negative and to the, oh my gosh, they're doing that again. And it's sort of this level, I suppose, of gratitude. Is that a little bit of that in there?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking when you were talking there, Lisa. Like, I think this is a great, like, partnerships are such a great mirror on an analogy of how you look at life a little bit, right? So it's like, are you seeing the 5-to-1 in positives in your life, and then kind of mirroring them in your partner, or kind of, so I totally agree that there's a underlying gratitude current there for sure.
However, the partner needs to know and be secure in himself enough. Like today, Lisa was going through some stuff, and I was able to, like, not put it back on her, but you keep doing this. And then she was like, how was she wording it? How were you wording it this morning?
I don't know.
What was about Melaleuca? I just want it to align to me, and it's like, it is aligning to you. Don't say it's not, because that's what she kept saying. Don't say it's not, it is.
He does help by putting up a mirror. That's really what he's really showing
Yeah.
me. It's like, this is what you're saying. Like, I was saying something, and he goes, well, I hear what you're saying. You're saying this. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am saying that, ain't I? Like,
But it went on for, and I wasn't, and don't get me wrong, you say it gentle back, not in a demeaning or anything way. It's supportive to try and help her see what she's doing. And both partners got to be open for that, because if you're not open for that, then it's pointless.
yeah, then the go up
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
the hairs on the back of your neck go up and everything else.
Yeah, so like, well, willing partner is absolutely, I think, one of the biggest pieces of it all. And what I've been able to see is where I've had unhealthy relationships in past that I almost didn't even know I was in, because of the level of conditioning, behavioral conditioning that I was in, and them. And so now that I've had, access to this framework where it's like, no, this is how it actually is supposed to go. Now when I'm dating or in relationship, now I see, like, oh, that's unhealthy. Like, my former spouse just did something this morning where I would have gotten entangled in some sort of a power struggle, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is. And then I kind of like remove myself a little bit more quickly, because I have that. But when you guys are talking, and like, I just that's great that you have that for each other. And it's almost, what I hear is, it's almost like you've signed an unconscious contract to be that for one another, and it's like you said, Scott, it's a gentle startup. It's a you're not like coming with malice intent to put her down, and you're not coming with that tone, but you're just showing her. And then and that's another piece of the Gottman work is emotional flooding. Like, if that emotional flooding does come in, you're to take 20 minutes, remove yourself from the situation, do something that isn't that for 20 minutes, and kind of take your mind off of it. And then, of course, the key piece is to come back to the table too. So a lot of the time, yeah.
We
Go ahead. Yeah.
the whole our sort of key word is we're processing, and it's just the fact that we're respectful to each other, that you're just processing, and we know we will sort of work through the feeling or the emotion, whatever is going on, and then come back to it again, right? To be able to.
And sometimes you don't need to come back to it again.
Yeah, it does happen. It just
and
dissipates.
it comes up 2 weeks later, and you kind of talk about it, and
and not that it's a issue between us. Something's going on in your individual life or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But so with that understanding, Carrie Ann, what really then inspired you to kind of get this singles sort of program class? I'm not sure how you're identifying it, but why is it that you wanted to start this? What in your life, I suppose, got you going that way?
Yeah, great question. Thanks. So that's it. I'm a solution finder, and we know the divorce rate is, depending on where you live, it's like 50% or higher. I've experienced divorce. I've had to give up my kids 50% of the time, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And so that kind of turmoil, along with, you know, it seems to be the conversation that everybody comes back to. It's like, how's your spouse? What's going on with your spousal relationship? Are you dating? Like, it's always about that partnership. And I don't know if I've been socially conditioned to wonder, like, are we to be together in that way? And what are the most effective people on the planet doing, like, as far as that? So I'm an analyst, an intellect. So I sought out, like the research-based information, and went to the Gottman Institute. But it really did stem from, not really even understanding what had happened in the demise of my marriage, and not wanting to recreate that, and almost feeling yucky for lack of a better word, when I was dating, because it almost felt like the same man with a different face. So it's like, how do I shift out of that pattern? And I'm a human behavior expert. I've been in human behavior for 20 years, from education to industry to now, like, coaching capacity and the singles network. And it's like, I still struggle really implementing those practices. So it's like I'm developing a sense of empathy for the people that don't necessarily have it, because even just having the tools isn't enough. It really is about that integration component, which involves being in relationship, really. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so much. I think one thing I know I've come to realize is that it does begin with yourself, right? So the must, I guess, that you do need to look inward, that you do need to do things that what I like to call stretch your comfort zone. You do need to do things that will promote your own growth. So when you feel the confidence in self, then you bring that forth to all your other relationships that are around you, right? So,
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Like the independent growth. So you come back to the table like refreshed and renewed, and not expect your partner to be the only person that's like helping you grow. I really like that. Yeah. That's like, in a secure relationship, you're taking care of yourself, and then you come back to the table whole, and you're not, like, of course it's going to happen, and that's a big piece of the Gottman work, is like, learn how to fight right, because like, arguments are going to happen. But it's like, if you can come back to the table as refreshed as you can be, with that self-care and that fulfillment of passion, which is really the goals work that the Gottman Institute is talking about too. Yeah.
That statement, though, arguments are always going to happen. We have yet, in the 3.5 or 4 years we've been together, we still have not had an argument.
that word in
But
itself
that's
can be double barreled or
that
fully loaded or whatever
I
you want to
know.
call
Is
that,
it?
just that word.
Sure.
We discuss everything, and there's times, like Lisa says, I mean, if this is an argument, I can't talk about it right now. I need to process it. If that's an argument,
And I guess we've had a
I guess
few.
we've had an argument, but that's not
Sure. Yeah.
getting bearings together. So you don't have an argument.
Yeah, that's incredible, right? And so it's getting, and I hear what you're saying. Like, the term argue implies like agitation, high emotion, that kind of thing. Whereas if you can bring, let's call it confrontation or mirroring, or whatever you want to call it, to the very calm, like communicative, just being that kind, loving, if you've brought it to that level, like, absolutely. And I guess I don't mean to flip it back to you guys, but like, how do you think that you arrived there together? Is it because of the work you've done on yourselves, or?
I would 100% say some of the work I've done on myself, and I know for me, I'm a little bit the one that gets a little agitated. So I'm gonna almost say I won't say all Lisa because I participate, but I know she resonates calmness. So she helps keep me calm.
Yeah, she really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, because knowing me, I would probably get into an argument. However, though, I don't want to damage. I want to cherish what I have, not damage. And I know if I act like I used to act, I'm gonna damage. And it's like, if you do what you always did, you're not gonna get what you always got. And so if I'm doing different, I'm gonna get different. And does that necessarily mean it'll work out? No.
Nor does it mean we're perfect.
Or does it mean we're perfect? However, it feels good inside rather than like when we go to bed and lay down, I go to sleep without any, oh, did I do that?
You mean we don't go to bed mad?
Yeah, we don't go to bed mad.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. You're able to sleep peacefully knowing that you have treated one another with care that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's solace right there. Because I think a lot of it in relationship is wondering if you've done the right thing. For me, anyway, I'm like wondering, like you said, if it's like, could I have handled that differently? Did I get too mad or whatever it is? And if you can know that you've done things in an integrous, calm way, that helps you sleep at night. I totally get it. Yeah.
However, even if you don't think you did, you go, hey babe, how did I handle that? Where did he like that's
Yeah.
all we do.
Beautiful.
Because it's
Beautiful.
yeah, like it's
And-
important that we're on the same page.
Yeah, and we've had discussions where, where you might say something I'm doing bugs you, or you say something, something that bugs me that you're doing, and it's like, oh, okay, like acknowledge, okay,
Yeah.
and maybe what can we do differently, or I don't know, it's stuff like that.
Well-
Like we actually talk.
Well, because most of the stuff stems from a trauma from the past.
Yeah.
Like, I'll use an example. Lisa used to just take a bite of an apple or a sliver of an apple, put it in the fridge
Eat the
to let it
rest
sit
later.
there and eat the rest later. Well, it goes brown and it goes yucky, and it's like it was pounded into my head when I was a kid. That's wrong. So she's doing it and it's making my skin crawl. And I'm telling her this, and I also know, and I'm also telling her I know it's crazy because it has nothing to do with me. That apple has nothing to do with me. So why it makes me, and then I was actually in a therapy session with my therapist, and she goes, well, think about it, Scott. Where did that come from? Like, what were you told as a kid if you had done that? And it helped take the power away. Does it still kind of ink me out? Yes, but it's like I don't have to be the control freak. Just let it go, and
And I heard that. However, sometimes I still put it back in, and sometimes I don't. But like
it
you
doesn't
kind of
bug me anymore.
But because
Right.
it's out, it's almost easier to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You're aware of it, and it takes the power away. I like that. And it is interesting. And this is, we've been friends for a while, guys, and this is part of the reason why I like you. You're like seeing the significance in an apple, like it doesn't take a divorce to get slapped in the face necessarily at this phase in your life anyway, after the self-work you've done. And it's like you can see where your past conditioning is coming into an apple. It doesn't need to be this huge drama thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and years ago, I would have made it a big issue.
Sure.
Like I wouldn't have let it go because it would have just been, you need to do this. And it's like, why?
But it's also the understanding that when we do take care of ourselves, like Scott's had to do lots of shifts of different things in his life, eating better, supplementation, taking care of mental health, like both of us have done things that have just like kind of risen the bar individually for each of us, right? So it complements kind of the understanding like where we met. We met at a personal development class. And so like we both knew we wanted growth in our life, right? and we are on our own paths and we support each other in those paths, right? So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So at what stage are you in this course, the singles course, and your cottage retreat? What is it named again?
So Country Cabin Retreats is the business. I also have a leadership coaching business. And so, like I said, the tie between the two is that, it all comes down to that. I'd be working with entrepreneurs or business leaders, and the conversation would always come back to this interpersonal relationship. So we do have courses also to support couples once the singles have coupled. What's been interesting, and maybe we can bring this here, is a lot of women are coming to the table, and we are having it at the spa. So however, typically men don't come to as many in-person singles events. And a lot of the research is kind of showing get in person, get feels for people in person instead of swiping and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people who have had success with the swiping, so it's not like it doesn't work, but there's an encouragement to get around people so you actually kind of get a sense of who they are a little bit more. And so one of the pieces of research that I find interesting actually is if you write out a list of who you want, what you want in a partner, and you give it to a matchmaking service, and they deliver that exact person to you from their database or whatever, the chances of you matching is 5%. And if you randomly are assigned to meet people, the chances of you meeting are 20%. So it's interesting because I think we know what we want, but it's possible we don't actually know what we want. So this comes out of the Gottman research too. It has more to do with how you feel with someone rather than say this list of qualities that you want in them. And so that's been a bit of a paradigm shift for a lot of people in personal growth too, because we talk about, manifesting this like perfect partner and stuff like that. And I know it happens for some people too. And it's like, what are we focusing on, and is it actually what we need? Which is, we're targeting specifically to men because, like I said, we've got like 15 beautiful, intelligent, aware, growth mindset women, attractive, like there are 15 women, and of course we're going to the spa, and it's the beautiful Nordic spa, but it's like, are you those things, gentlemen, is kind of this ad that I have out. Are you those things? And, I'm causing people to reflect on, are you this kind of core quality of values that support relational health? And if we bring those people together, I see the likelihood of a match as being higher because we've brought those core values together. So
for me, like when I started, I was in the depths. Like I was not in really good headspace. So when I started to grow and you were talking manifesting a partner in your life, 2 days before me and Lisa actually got together, my hopes, dreams, and goals, I wrote this list and went to bed, and I woke up in the morning and the first thought in my brain was, you ripped yourself off again. Get up and put some stuff on that paper. So the first thing I put down on the paper was a partner. That was it, a partner, not any kind of characteristics of the partner. And then 2 days later, me and Lisa went on our first date.
I've never heard that story. That's cool. So once you broadened it to partner, that's when it kind of happened for you. Yeah, really cool. That supports the research right there. Like that's really.
And so where can people connect with you? How can they get a hold of you to, especially those men, if they're
right? Bring in the men.
Yes. So how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. So it's Country Cabin Retreats. You can Google search that. It's also Country Cabin Yoga, www.countrycabinyoga.com. Yoga is my self-care, and I definitely interweave yoga into all the retreats that I have. It is optional. However, that's where the yoga part comes from. Interestingly, yoga means union. So when you think of it in the partnership perspective too, it's kind of cool, the integration there, but it's countrycabinyoga.com. We got the Nordic Spa Retreat coming up. We are doing it for singles and couples because a lot of the concern of the singles was, hey, what if we're in partnership? So we have a tandem singles and couples retreat going. Again, the caliber of experts that we have coming in with the 50 years of research from the Gottman Institute just makes it so we wanted to blow this up and really have a great event out in Kananaskis, Alberta here. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes, for those viewers who are watching us from around the world, that is in Canada, like you said, in Calgary, Alberta, in that area. And that is coming up, you said, though, the Nordic Spa one.
Nordic Spa Retreat is end of March, so March 28th through 30. We got to get registrations in by about February 20. So yeah, if you want to book, we'd love to have you. We are trying to start this kind of innovative way to connect with other singles, and so yeah, we'd love to have anybody who qualifies there. Yeah.
Well, absolutely fantastic topic today, because as you know, we appreciate a really good relationship and being able to talk with other people and talk about really important stuff, and that's all about connecting and connections and stepping up for yourself and stepping up for your partner. So this podcast will be on our YouTube channel, and we'll post all your information, Carrie Anne, and we are also, you can find us on Spotify as well.
And we're here tonight with Carrie Anne Arand.
This is why editing is amazing. Exactly. Yeah.
First month just doing your.
Hey everybody, Scott Burley here from Suitcases and Oh my God, you do it now. No, you do it now.
I'll do it now. So
you'll get something you can use here, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, there'll be something. If not, there'll be a good blooper at the end.
Okay.
Hold on.
I didn't say that right again?
No, but you just introduced yourself and then her. You didn't say anything about me.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
You cherish and you love me more as every day goes by. And I feel so lucky that I get to call you mine. No matter what comes our way, I can always say, I know we'll win the fight. Baby, it's you and me, here's to the rest of our life.